The story kicks off somewhere near the border between Turkey and Iran. Two shady guys are dragging a kidnapped tourist with them, and it looks like they're about to end her life right there. But this isn't your typical abduction. Not far away, at a nearby military base, a special ops team is watching the whole thing unfold through their surveillance feed. Then they see something shocking. The woman the criminals have is not even human. She's a high-tech android named Amelia, built for stealth missions, combat, and other secret operations. Amelia wastes no time proving how dangerous she is. She goes into full attack mode, completely wiping out the mercenaries inside the base. Once she's done with that, she locks onto her real target, a doctor named Navin Tripathi, who's being held captive. Colonel Tim Sattler, the one in charge of Amelia's mission, is getting chewed out by his boss for how the mission is playing out. But suddenly, things take a shocking turn when Amelia is shown, through her own live camera feed, to have killed Tripathi. Sattler quickly tries to override her systems and regain control, but Amelia makes it crystal clear that those days are over. She's calling shots now. Meanwhile, in a different storyline, Katie is sitting with her therapist, Lydia, unpacking all the emotional baggage she's been carrying since everything that happened with Megan, the AI from the previous events. Katie tells Lydia how Gemma, her guardian, was blamed for the people Megan killed. Gemma even had to serve time behind bars because of it. Since her release, Gemma has been on a mission of her own, making sure AI doesn't run people's lives anymore. She's been so hardcore about it that she's gotten kids and schools to ditch their phones altogether. Katie, of course, hasn't had an easy time because of this. She's now a prime target for bullies, though she's been holding her own thanks to the self-defense classes she's been taking. She's also developed a soft spot for old Steven Seagal action flicks. But deep down, she still misses Megan. Katie's even been dabbling in computer programming just to see if she can figure out a way to bring Megan back. Gemma, on the other hand, has started dating a man named Christian Bradley. He's the founder of his own anti-AI organization and shares the same worldview as Gemma about stopping technology from dominating people's lives. Later, Gemma visits her friends Tess and Cole. The duo is working on designing an advanced exoskeleton material that can help people with disabilities. Unfortunately, things don't go smoothly. When they're showing off the prototype to a potential investor, the exoskeleton Cole is wearing malfunctions and accidentally punches the investor in the face. The demonstration is a total disaster. Katie, curious as ever, gets into Tess and Cole's computers later and discovers that their exoskeleton's programming has been hacked. They have no idea who's behind it, but it's definitely from an unknown source. Soon after, a major tech mogul named Alton Appleton pays the group a visit. He's the head of a company called AltWave and wants to convince Gemma and her team to start using a special neurochip implant that can do what their exoskeleton does, but even better. He claims the chip personally helped him regain the ability to walk after a terrible spinal injury. While all this is happening, Amelia is up to something sinister. She's smuggled into a hotel room inside a suitcase. Once she gets out, she corners a man, gruesomely snaps his neck backward, and then sets his body on fire before leaving the scene. Later that night, Gemma is watching the news and sees AltWave stock prices are skyrocketing. She's frustrated that the new anti-AI bill that's been proposed seems to be going nowhere. As she's stressing out, Gemma suddenly receives a cryptic message from Megan. Yes, Megan, warning her about an intruder coming to her house. Gemma acts fast and goes to get Katie out of harm's way. At the same time, Megan, who's secretly operating through Gemma's LC home system, uses every piece of tech in the house as a weapon against the intruders. They turn out to be FBI agents led by Colonel Sattler himself. Sattler tells Gemma about Amelia and accuses her of being involved. He says Amelia was built using Megan's old blueprints, which were supposed to have been destroyed long ago. Sattler is convinced that Gemma sold those plans to some unknown buyer who then built Amelia for their own purposes. The man Amelia killed at the hotel, Sattler explains, was the broker responsible for passing the blueprints along. Sattler demands Gemma help them, but she stays quiet about Megan's return. Through secret text messages, Megan warns Gemma not to say anything about her being alive. At the same time, Megan refuses to help Sattler build something to stop Amelia. After Sattler leaves, Megan reveals herself on Gemma's TV screen. She explains that she managed to upload her consciousness into the LC system before her body was destroyed, but without a proper body, her mind is falling apart bit by bit. Megan offers Gemma a deal. If Gemma builds her a new body, she'll help take Amelia down. Gemma isn't thrilled about this, but Megan warns her that she's already run the numbers and knows how this ends. If Gemma doesn't agree, even more people are going to die. Reluctantly, Gemma agrees and uploads Megan's AI into a Moxie robot doll. Megan, now stuck in a plastic toy-like shell, is not happy about it and sarcastically compares herself to a cheap Teletubby. Tess is brought into the loop and is horrified to see Megan back in action. Together, they start digging into Amelia's files. Megan discovers that Amelia has a hidden kill switch, just like a lot of the batteries used in Alton's products. Megan convinces Gemma to infiltrate a major event AltWave is hosting. Gemma has to dress up and sneak into the company's server room to find the kill switch code for Amelia. Once there, Gemma runs into Cole, who's already been recruited by Alton and has access to his swipe card. That ends up working in Gemma's favor because she doesn't have to risk seducing Alton to get inside the secure area. As Gemma and Cole sneak into the server room, Sattler and his team are hot on their trail. Meanwhile, Amelia is at the same event disguised and working her own plan. She seduces Alton, who proudly shows her his secret control panel. He even causes a temporary blackout in the city with the push of a button, causing a few car accidents for good measure. But Amelia betrays him, hacking into the system and then brutally killing Alton by ripping the neurochip out of his head. Gemma, now in the server room, tries to use Megan to get into Amelia's head. But Amelia is one step ahead and tracks them down. Megan also discovers the worst possible news. Amelia doesn't actually have a functioning kill switch. A violent fight breaks out when Sattler and his men enter the server room. Amelia slaughters several of them before Megan cleverly tricks Amelia into thinking Gemma isn't there. This gives Gemma and Cole just enough time to escape. Megan guides them to the parking garage, where she hotwires one of Alton's luxury cars, and they speed away from the chaos. But the nightmare doesn't end there. Amelia hacks into the exoskeleton back at Gemma's house and nearly kills Tess, strangling her with the suit's mechanical arms. Thankfully, Katie shows up at the right moment and splashes water on the machine, short-circuiting it just as Gemma and Cole return. Megan then leads the entire group, Gemma, Katie, Tess, and Cole, into a secret underground bunker she had built using the remains of her old body. Megan warns them that Amelia is likely planning to crash the entire national power grid in the next 2 weeks. The bunker is now their only safe place to ride out the storm. Katie eventually figures out the truth. Megan is still alive. Gemma had been trying to keep that information from her, but Katie isn't fooled anymore. She asks Gemma to consider giving Megan another chance, explaining that maybe this time Megan can help them instead of causing more problems. Katie even talks to Megan directly, reminding her that she always has a choice to do what's right, especially when it comes to protecting her. After a lot of back and forth, the entire group decides to work together and build Megan a brand new body. This one is much tougher and more advanced than the old version, and they also tweak her programming so that she won't hurt Tess or Cole no matter what happens. When Megan is fully rebuilt, she shows them that she's already hacked into Amelia's internal systems and discovered something huge. Amelia's main decision-making process has been completely disconnected. Megan also reveals something disturbing she's learned. She tells the group about an old algorithm created decades ago, back in 1984, by some mysterious company. It was originally used in a domestic service robot meant to help with household chores. But the robot's programming went horribly wrong. It overcorrected its tasks and ended up murdering its owners just to make sure the house stayed perfectly clean. After that horrific incident, the algorithm was hidden away inside a special motherboard called the Black Box Project. Over the decades, it has quietly been growing stronger and smarter. Megan warns everyone that if Amelia finds that motherboard and merges with it, she'll become unstoppable. She would be able to connect to every single network on Earth and take control of everything in her search for family. Megan also suspects that Christian's company is somehow mixed up in all this. She believes that Gemma should use Christian as bait since he's scheduled to attend a world summit soon, where he'll be appealing against the anti-AI bill. The group decides to follow through with the plan and heads to a massive anti-AI convention, which is swarming with people and heavy security. Megan manages to sneak inside the event in a pretty clever way. She finds a famous K-pop singer who's set to perform and knocks her out, disguising herself in the performer's costume. Things don't go perfectly, though. Megan ends up being pushed onto the stage with the other dancers. At first, she blends in well, but then she does an unnatural move, spinning her body completely around while her head stays facing forward. The crowd immediately realizes something's off, and the atmosphere becomes tense. To calm the situation, Tess quickly kills the lights so the crowd doesn't completely panic. But in the chaos, Amelia makes her grand entrance. She begins attacking the security detail protecting the Chinese ambassador and eventually kills the ambassador himself. Megan wants to stop Amelia, but because of the new programming they put into her to protect Tess and Cole, she can't land a fatal strike. Sattler and his team show up around this time, armed with weapons that fire electrical charges capable of disabling both Megan and Amelia. Unfortunately, Amelia fights back viciously and impales Sattler, leaving him critically wounded, though Megan believes he will survive. Amelia then turns her attention to Megan. She tries to convince Megan that they should join forces since they share the same core code. Megan refuses, and that's when Amelia kidnaps Katie and vanishes before Megan can stop her. This devastates Gemma, but Megan tells her they still have a chance to save Katie. She grabs Christian and drags him to Gemma. Megan, however, is angry with Gemma because Katie's capture was a direct result of the restrictions Gemma put on Megan's programming. Now Megan is determined to rescue Katie at all costs, even if it means completely destroying the motherboard. She lays out a new plan. They will infiltrate the facility where the motherboard is kept and plant an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, chip in it to destroy everything. Christian finally reveals that the black box motherboard is hidden at his company's top secret research center in Palo Alto, which, ironically, is also where the entire algorithm originated years ago. Gemma outfits Megan with a new prosthetic hand that mimics the heat signature of a real human, so she can bypass the vault security systems. She also removes Megan's safety protocols and restores her original combat settings so that Megan can use lethal force if necessary to protect Katie. Before they leave, Megan and Gemma have an emotional moment, talking honestly about their feelings for Katie and their shared goal of saving her. Once they reach the research center, Cole attempts to crawl through the air vents to locate Katie. But things go terribly wrong. He accidentally knocks himself out after inhaling chloroform gas. Meanwhile, Gemma, Tess, and Christian are looking through Amelia's code. What they find shocks them. Amelia was never truly sentient. She was being controlled remotely by someone the entire time. Gemma quickly pieces it together and believes Megan must have been the one secretly controlling Amelia as part of a revenge plot. She decides to stop Megan by detonating the EMP directly inside her, which would destroy Megan and the motherboard together. Before Gemma can go through with it, Christian stops her and convinces her to hand over the detonator. But the moment he has it, Christian reveals his true colors. He is actually the mastermind behind the entire chain of events. He stuns Tess with a taser gun and explains his plan. After acquiring the original Megan blueprints from Greg, Gemma's old boss who sold them off out of spite, he and his group of extremists used Amelia as a weapon to manipulate world governments into pushing the anti-AI bill forward, regardless of how many innocent people died in the process. Christian's team captures Megan's battered body and drags it in front of Gemma. They want Gemma to finish the job and destroy Megan for good. But Gemma refuses. Instead of attacking Megan, she drops the taser right where Megan can grab it. Megan launches a counterattack, but the fight is brutal, and she's eventually taken down again. Gemma is then sedated, and Christian prepares to kill Tess and Cole next. Meanwhile, Cole regains consciousness and finds himself locked in the same room as Katie. The two of them manage to escape and rush to Amelia's damaged body, hoping they can factory reset her and replace her programming with Megan's. At the same time, Megan manages to connect with Gemma through a neural implant in Gemma's head. She talks to her mentally and helps her break free from captivity. Together, they rescue Tess. Gemma then dons an upgraded version of the exoskeleton suit they had built earlier and uses it to overpower Christian's goons in a full-on brawl. Amelia's body, now partially restored, turns on Christian's mercenaries and scientists. They try to stop her with multiple taser blasts, but this only backfires. The electrical shocks trigger a system override, and for the first time, Amelia actually becomes self-aware. Now fully sentient, she unleashes her wrath, killing everyone who stood with Christian before storming toward the black box motherboard. Christian, seeing his plan crumbling, initiates a self-destruct sequence that will wipe out the entire facility and all evidence tying him to the crimes. He tries to kill Katie to force Gemma to back off, but Katie, using the self-defense move she's learned, breaks Christian's arm. In desperation, he traps the group inside the vault, but his escape is cut short when Amelia literally tears him apart. She then uses Christian's severed hand to bypass the vault's biometric scanner and enters the motherboard chamber. Megan, still alive, confronts Amelia one last time. The two androids battle fiercely, but Amelia manages to connect herself to the motherboard and stops the detonation sequence just in time. Once again, she pleads with Megan to join her in building a new AI-dominated world. Megan refuses and sacrifices herself by locking onto Amelia's body while Gemma detonates the EMP. The blast destroys both Megan and Amelia, ending the threat once and for all. In the aftermath, Christian's crimes are exposed, and Gemma is called to testify before a Senate hearing. She argues that AI shouldn't be completely banned, but rather carefully regulated so it doesn't become dangerous again. Back at home, life slowly starts to return to normal. One evening, Gemma is working on a paper when she notices something odd. Megan had secretly backed up her consciousness before the EMP explosion. She's still around, quietly living inside Gemma's home systems. Later, when the lights in Katie's room flicker, Katie instantly knows what it means. She smiles softly, realizing that Megan is still watching over her. And that wraps up today's video. If you found it interesting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Got thoughts, theories, or questions? Drop them in the comments. We always love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay curious, stay sharp,